In this video, let's look at the Chiefs' thrilling Super Bowl victory as we dive into the details of the game and then look at a coach who is not retiring, yet a player who is retiring. But first, how about those? Well, the Chiefs are once again Super Bowl champions, and what a freaking game it was, a battle that went down to the very end. There was no blowout like some thought would happen, and the Eagles did not win like many thought would happen. Many tuned in to watch the best team of the NFC face off against the best team of the AFC in a battle for the ages. In fact, Super Bowl 57 drew an average viewership of 113 million, making Kansas City's win the third most watched television show of all time and the best Super Bowl audience since the New England Patriots and their historic comeback win in Super Bowl 51 back in 2017. It was certainly a hard-fought game down to the wire that was filled with all kinds of action and lots of tears after the Chiefs won the game. Tears of joy for the Chiefs. I mean, Frank Clark got extremely choked up in an interview.
Man, it's a blessing, man. I know my pop's smiling, man. I wish he can see it, but I know he's smiling, man.
Travis Kelce was super emotional.
Being able to get closer with my brother throughout the season, and then meet him at the mountaintop. It's the best feeling in the world, man. And I don't know how many I got left, but I'm sure going to cherish this one forever.
Among many others, but for others who were not on the Chiefs or many who didn't even play in the game, it was tears of agony, grief, and absolute denial. I mean, I get it. If I lived off of a diet lacking protein, I too would be a frail individual who cries and moans at everything under the sun instead of accepting accountability and taking the L like an actual freaking adult. I mean, based on the responses I saw from this game, you'd think half of the world is still in 5th grade due to the amount of people acting like coddled little children because a flag was thrown in a game that involves flags being thrown from time to time in every single game if someone does something worth getting flagged for. I mean, I know that's hard to believe, but no amount of tears are going to change the result. So why, oh why must you fight, scratch, and claw like toddlers who are fighting over Tinker Toys because the outcome didn't go your way, you fragile little infants? There. It's going to be okay. I will say this, though, hats off to the Eagles players and coaching staff because they handled this loss with absolute class, dignity, and maturity. But most of the people outside of the organization, not so much. And I will probably talk about the field because that was an even bigger issue, and the officiating in tomorrow's video because I think it deserves more time in its own video than I have today. But what I want to do in today's video is take a deeper look at the game and some news that came out of this game's conclusion, including a beloved player of the Chiefs retiring and some incredible stats, among other things. But first, from here, I want to thank today's sponsor, HelloFresh. HelloFresh delivers delicious meal kits straight to your door that are even more fresh than the Chiefs looked when stepping off the plane in Arizona last week. Danny and I love using HelloFresh for a couple of reasons. One, the meal kits save us time by shipping everything we need for each meal right to our door, and two, they are legitimately delicious. No matter your lifestyle or meal preferences, HelloFresh has recipes that are sure to please everyone at the table, and for us, that often includes both our daughters. Okay, well, actually, that always includes our 2 daughters, They Must Eat, and my grandma. They have tons of customizations as well. Calorie smart, carb smart, veggie, family friendly. Lots of options that are sure to find something even the pickiest eaters will enjoy. Seriously, our girls are often pretty particular on what they eat for dinner, but have loved every meal we've made for them with HelloFresh. We've even made this into a family event, and our girls have loved helping Danny cook the meals. You can also customize select meals by swapping proteins, sides, or even adding protein to a veggie dish. Num num, I love protein, and now you can even upgrade for organic chicken or organic ground beef, and I like that because we like to eat pretty healthy around here, and it also helps that you'll only find quality ingredients in HelloFresh's recipes that travel from the farm to your home in less than 7 days. So they're fresh. One of our favorite recent meals was the pork sausage rigatoni rosa, I think it is, fancy word, which our kids devoured instantly, but honestly, it was all good. In fact, I couldn't recommend them enough and have a discount code for you all to use if interested. In honor of the legend right guard Trey Smith, just go to HelloFresh.com and use code HBTChiefs65 for 65% off plus free shipping. Again, just go to HelloFresh.com and use code HBTChiefs65 for 65% off plus free shipping. All right, let's dig into this Super Bowl game. Mahomes was crowned the Super Bowl MVP, the 2-time Super Bowl MVP. Same season he got league MVP. You love to freaking see it, man, all season long. All the hate, all the disrespect. I mean, they were wrong. Overpaid little bums. And Patrick Mahomes, He did throw for under 200 yards in this game, yes, but he had 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, was sacked 0 times against arguably the best D-line in the league, and on top of that, he had 6 carries for 44 yards on an injured ankle. Grade 2 high ankle sprain, with his longest being the 26-yarder up the middle of the field on that final drive of the game with everything on the line and 1.5 legs, yet still ran like a Rottweiler was chasing him on this run. Meanwhile, Jalen Hurts, he had a fantastic game himself, throwing for just over 300 yards and 1 TD in the air, but also had 15 carries for 70 yards and 3 rushing touchdowns and also a 2-point conversion that he ran in himself. And I also believe Hurts' longest run was on that 4th and 5, the QB draw, which was an extremely gutsy call by Philly. And honestly, my hat, tip of the cap that I never wear, goes off to their coaching staff as well for a greatly coached game. And Jalen Hurts set/tied a couple of records himself last night, breaking the record for most rushing yards by a QB in a Super Bowl, surpassing Steve McNair, who had 64 yards, and then he tied a Super Bowl rushing TD record with Terrell Davis at 3. This man would have no doubt been the Super Bowl MVP had the Eagles won the game. I will say his shoulder also did not really look like it was bothering him, as he connected with both A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith on multiple deep passes. But as far as the run game goes for the Chiefs, they rushed for 158 yards with Isaiah Pacheco leading the way, 15 carries for 76 yards and a rushing touchdown, scoring a TD in the biggest game of his short NFL career. And ironically, this TD was scored in the same stadium that he scored his first ever touchdown in the regular season, which was week 1 against the Cardinals. It all came full circle for Isaiah Pacheco, and I could not be happier for this man. In the passing game, of course, Travis Kelce led with 6 receptions for 81 yards and a touchdown. GOAT. Then it was Juju next, who really came alive in the second half. He caught 7 passes for 53 yards, and then it dropped down in production from there. Justin Watson had a couple of catches for 18 yards. McKinnon had 3 for 14. Then you had Noah Gray, Sky Moore, and Kadarius Toney, all with 1 reception each. However, 2 of those 3 receptions by these 3 players resulted in 2 touchdowns. One to Kadarius Toney in the 4th quarter on a play called Corn Dog. Yes, the play was called Corn Dog, in which he acted like he was going in motion but switched directions and was left wide open for an easy walk-in touchdown.
I'm going to give you a name for it. Right?
Yeah.
It's called Corn Dog. So,
it's called what?
Corn Dog.
It's not called Corn Dog. He doesn't step into the huddle and say Corn Dog.
Oh, no, he says Corn Dog.
He does?
And then Sky Moore caught his first ever NFL touchdown on pretty much the same exact play, but reversed. He was on the other side of the formation, left side instead of the right. He went in motion, then switched directions and went back outside for a touchdown pass, and that was set up by Kadarius Toney's incredible punt return that brought the Chiefs all the way down to the 5-yard line. And when asked about the punt return, Kadarius kept it short, sweet, and to the point. He said this: "He just gave us an ugly punt, and I just had to go out there and make a play. It was the right return, and I went the way I was supposed to return." So yeah, thankfully, Kadarius Toney was able to get away from a sea of Eagles players on the left side and snuck his way along the right sideline in what was a huge momentum shifter of the game. Another big play earlier in the game was Nick Bolton picking up a Jalen Hurts fumble and taking it to the house for 6 points. And that is only one of many incredible plays Nick Bolton made in this game. He quite possibly played the game of his career, definitely of the season, making several incredible tackles throughout this game. And for that reason, Nick Bolton gets my defensive game ball, with Patrick Mahomes getting the offensive game ball and Kadarius Toney getting the special teams game ball. I mean, Toney's Super Bowl performance alone, I think he played like 8 snaps in this game. I don't know if that includes offensive snaps, special team snaps, or altogether. Either way, it was special team snaps and either 8 on offense or 8 snaps total. But dude, his impact was felt in this game. And that performance alone was worth the trade midseason from the Giants. And we still have this man, the Chiefs still have this man under contract for 2 more years after this, and they can enable his 5th-year option. It is freaking insane. And before I move on, I do want to give a couple honorary shout-outs. I want to shout out Marcus Kemp for his incredible blocks on that Toney punt return. He blocked like 2 or 3 players on that return, and Toney would not have gotten even close to where he did without Marcus Kemp in those blocks. And then got to shout out Leo Chanel, making several great plays on defense and the run game. I mean, Chris Jones held it down as well, but thinking a little bit outside the box here on some honorary players. This team fought through adversity, being down by 10 at half, with Mahomes re-aggravating his ankle just before the half and ended up outscoring Philadelphia in the second half 24-11, with 17 of those points coming in the fourth quarter, in which the Chiefs pull off another come-from-behind victory under the bright lights of the big game. And this is crazy, man. By the end of the game, the Eagles had more first downs, a higher third down conversion rate. They were 2 for 2 on fourth downs, had more passing yards, more total yards, and almost 9 more minutes of possession. Yet still, the Chiefs made adjustments and willed away to win, literally willing their way to victory and having established themselves as a dynasty of sorts, at least over the last 5 years. I mean, I don't know how you can ignore it. 5 AFC Championship games hosted, 3 Super Bowl appearances in the last 4 years, 2 rings, the greatest coach in the game, the greatest tight end in the game, and the greatest QB in the game, Patrick LeVon Mahomes II, who also has 2 league MVPs and 2 Super Bowl MVPs. And get this, Mahomes is out here breaking curses, if you choose to believe in curses. The last 8 teams to win the coin toss have lost the Super Bowl until Mahomes. Regular season MVP hasn't won the Super Bowl since 1999 until Mahomes coming into last night's game. Teams leading by double digits at halftime were 26-1 in the Super Bowl until Mahomes made it 26-2. So yeah, I couldn't be happier for Coach Reid, Eric Bieniemy, Spags, and the whole coaching staff. They really coached their freaking tails off. Andy Reid had a masterclass. I know the Eagles put up 35 points on the defense, but I think they played well at times as well. But man, the offense almost had 45 points. Well, offense and special teams. If Harrison Butker did not miss that field goal in the first half, and then McKinnon runs in that touchdown at the end of the game instead of opting for 3, that is 45 points that the Chiefs would have put up on the best defense in the NFL. We got to credit Nick Bolton for 6 of those also. But dude, the Chiefs just played lights out, man. Great game. They won it. I understand there was a flag at the end of the game. We'll talk about that in tomorrow's video. For now, if you're still upset about that, please drink your Badger milk and get some density in your weak, frail little bones, for the love of God. Anyway, moving on, I'm so glad Juju and MVS got their first rings, as well as the rookies, especially Pacheco, man, who lost both of his siblings due to violence. And then can't forget about Carlos Dunlap getting his first ring after 13 years in the league without even a playoff victory until this year. And he gets a ring, and the list goes on and on. I'm sure I'm forgetting about some people. And after the win, the trophy presentation, and getting all their flowers, all the props and all the praise from the crowd, it was reported that Patrick Mahomes went around the locker room immediately after walking in there to congratulate every single one of his teammates and coaches before finally sitting down at his own locker. This man is a leader's leader, one of the greatest to ever play the game, a father of 2, husband, part owner of the Royals, Sporting KC. The list goes on and on with his accolades. He's only 27 years old. I need to step up my life at 31. Really do. And as of today, Mahomes was at Disneyland celebrating with his family and was honored with the traditional post-Super Bowl parade there. But we don't really care about the Disney parade. I mean, who watches Disney these days? Okay, my kids do, gonna be honest. But what we really care about is the parade that is set to happen here in KC. It's gonna be noon on Wednesday, February 15th. So that's 12 p.m. Central. And here's the parade route. Ba-boom. Nice little graphic. And with the route ending at Union Station around 1:45, then the rally filled with speeches and all kinds of fun stuff like that will take place from there. Remember, Travis Kelce last time had a pretty epic speech. So I will be hanging out and hosting a live stream parade celebration reaction with the community. If any of you are like me and introverted, don't like crowds, or live out of state and just want to tune in and hang out. Before we get out of here, there's a couple of other things that are important that I need to mention. The first is Coach Reid is not retiring, thank God.
I'm enjoying what I'm doing, and I've got this guy over here that is a pretty good player. So, I mean, we're doing okay. Well, listen, Adam, if they'll have me, I'll stick around.
Yes, yes.
And for that, I, as well as all of you, I'm sure, are very glad that he's sticking around for the foreseeable future, man. Coach Reid, one of the greatest coaches in NFL history and a major part of the Chiefs' success over the last 10 years, yes, and over the last 5, especially since getting Patrick Mahomes. And speaking of success, the Chiefs would not have had some of the success that they have had without QB Chad Henne, the backup, coming in clutch at times when Mahomes has been injured. Think about the 2019 Super Bowl run when he helped secure a win against the Browns, and most recently during the divisional round against the Jags when Mahomes sprained his ankle, had to leave to get x-rays. You remember all that, the 98-yard drive that led to a touchdown. Without that drive, not sure the Chiefs win that game. This man is a veteran, a leader in the locker room, and a true professional of the game. Well, the good news is Andy Reid is not retiring, but the bittersweet news is that Chad Henne is retiring. It's bittersweet because, you know, he was a great backup for us, for the Chiefs. Us, I don't play, but for the Chiefs. The sweet part is he goes out with a bang, getting a ring. So he announced on Instagram last night after the win saying, calling it a career, capping it off with a Bud Light and another ring. Should have been a Boulevard Wheat, but oh well, you can't be perfect. Super Bowl champs. So there you have it. The 15-year veteran is hanging up the cleats after making $40 million in career earnings and has the same number of Super Bowl rings as John Elway, Peyton Manning, Bart Starr, and Roger Staubach. What a freaking legend. So whatever is next for him in his chapter, I wish this man nothing but the best. And that begs the question now, who's next? Who's the next man up for the backup QB to Patrick Mahomes? Probably Shane Buechele. But again, that's for another video at a later time. We'll cover all that in the offseason. And with all that being said, what do you guys think about the Henne retirement? The Chiefs win, Mahomes getting MVP, everybody crying real tears because they can't stand the Chiefs winning a game. Definitely let me know your thoughts on all this in the comments down below. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those?